Welcome, everybody. My name is Ksawery Lisinski, and I'm the VP of Product Management at Elements Cloud. Today, we sync over 1,000 Salesforce orgs every day. And since we started, we have analyzed more than 9 billion metadata components. Today, I would like to share with you the top 10 things we've learned from that journey. These are the numbers for the biggest org we have ever synced. 250,000 reports, 2,000, I repeat, 2,000 custom objects, 20,000 custom fields, 60 managed packages. I mean, this is what hell must look like to Salesforce admins. There was something like 400 record types on one standard object alone. Now, while this particular org is a bit of an outlier, we are consistently seeing orgs with hundreds of custom objects, hundreds of custom fields on them, tens of thousands of reports, etc., etc. Which actually leads me to another important insight. From what we see, most of that configuration is never being used. Whether that's multiple objects with barely any data in it, or hundreds or even thousands of custom fields which were never filled, or maybe once or twice across thousands or even tens of thousands of records, or reports that haven't been generated or seen ever. I mean, a lot of it is left abandoned if it was ever used at all. Actually, on that front, there was an org we synced not that long ago. Of all the dashboards that were created in the last year alone, more than half were never opened or viewed by any user. Another thing we've learned, record types are often the bane in any Salesforce admin's existence. They can be used predominantly in Apex classes, formula fields, flows, process builders, reports, etc. But there's actually no easy way to find out which ones, so you dare not delete them because you have no idea of the impact. They are, we find, a huge source of technical debt, especially if you consider that every picklist value in a picklist field has to be mapped to a record type. So a quick segue, the scariest we have come across is 255 record types on opportunity, where there were 130 picklist fields, and some of those picklists had more than 100 values in it. This resulted, and I'm roughly quoting here, in about 5 million record type mappings. You know what's another thing that sticks? Your managed packages. We constantly see orgs with tens, sometimes more, in few instances actually more than 100 managed packages, most of them not being used, and most of them extremely difficult to remove. I mean, managed packages have an amazing tendency of inserting themselves into so many standard objects and so many layouts that most people give up trying to uninstall them, and they're not going anywhere. Let's talk about everyone's favorite subject, which is technical debt. COVID has obviously accelerated digital transformation and the need for that transformation, which usually means faster development. But we are seeing staggering levels of technical debt that is stopping organizations, even today in 2021, from migrating from Salesforce Classic to Lightning. We are often hearing, throw all that investment, let's get rid of that org we've been using for the past 5 or 10 years and let's start fresh. Well, this is obviously a huge risk operationally, a huge cost, and a huge wasted opportunity. Surely the answer should be to continuously work at reducing technical debt every day, every sprint, every release, not just letting the situation spiral out of control. Now, I've kind of mentioned this already, but let me reiterate that point. Fields are everywhere. The top 5 standard objects, the lead, account, contact, opportunity, and case, often hit custom field limits. I'm not surprised anymore when I see an org with 500 or even 800 custom fields on multiple objects. This is because teams fear that deleting a particular field will break the org. The common practice is to hide or deactivate fields, but never actually delete them. We've seen examples of orgs with extra custom objects. Great example, there was one org where alongside a standard object opportunity, there were 2 custom objects, opportunity 1 and 2, because obviously there weren't enough fields to go around. You can hardly blame admins, however, architects or business analysts, for staying clear of deleting fields, because we regularly see fields which have hundreds or even thousands of first order, second order, third order dependencies, meaning there's a whole number of automations or reports that can be affected. And looking at a dependency graph like that, I mean, it would only be natural for any human to just say no. Another thing we have noticed, Salesforce is increasingly being connected to more and more systems. And it is never just one tool. It is always a combination of custom-built integrations, managed packages, direct integrations from installed apps, the apps your sales team installed last year haven't told you about, and those set up via integration mapping tools like MuleSoft. And that just adds a whole new dimension to dependency complexity. A big reason why it is so difficult to customize your Salesforce org or any other system for that matter is that there is a limited understanding of why was something built, how does it work, and who uses it. And from what we can see, 99% of orgs do not even have help text or descriptions filled out on most of their metadata. Actually, scratch that, on all of their metadata. Which leads to the final thing we have learned from analyzing 9 billion metadata items. Without the proper framework, processes, and tools to assess impact of changes at speed, business transformations slow down or even grind to a halt. So let's sum up the key takeaways. Organizations consistently build the wrong solutions. A huge share of configuration is never adopted or quickly abandoned. And once something gets built, it never gets deleted. So the key takeaway really is technical debt and the lack of ability to navigate through it completely kills business agility. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please check out these helpful resources that are available on the screen. And if you'd like to continue this conversation personally with me, if you'd like to share your horror stories, then reach out to me through email or LinkedIn.